Hey guys, Charles Damiano back from the Bruce Lee collection for another exciting episode. In this episode, I decided to feature a book that was given to me by a friend of mine out of North Carolina. He's a big Bruce Lee collector. A lot of you guys know him. His name is John Agrone. And when I was over his house a few months back, featuring some of the episodes that we put together on his massive Bruce Lee collection, he was kind enough to give me this Bruce Lee behind the scenes of Enter the Dragon book that came out in 2017. He had two left in his collection, and he was kind enough to give me this one, so I wanted to give a shout out to John Agrone. Once again, thank you very much. I know in a past episode I mentioned to the fans and collectors that we would kind of thumb through some of this book because there was a lot of interest in this book, and I know it came out in very limited supply. The date in here shows 2017, and it's just simply amazing. It's about 200 pages. It's a very thick, well put together book. Has a beautiful behind the scenes cover of Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon, and back cover, a little kite here, a collectible kite from Enter the Dragon, and it's beautiful quality, and the paper is just very, very thick and magnificent. So if you guys want, what we'll do is we'll thumb through a few of the pages together to give you an idea what's inside this book, because a lot of you guys wrote in when you saw me feature this in one of the episodes and wanting to see what was inside the book. So let's flip a few of these pages together. Here you have a beautiful shot of Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon in color. Here are some behind the scenes with director Robert Klaus in the room when he brings in the girls with Anna Capri, and they asked Bruce to pick one.
First days of shooting were really amazing because, you know, Bruce wouldn't come out. I mean, Bruce did everything to avoid starting. The very first scene we shot is the scene where he's in his room and Anna Capri parades in all these girls for him to pick a girl. Because we figured it took the easiest scene, he didn't have to move. And he was a wreck. I mean, if you look at the scene carefully, I mean, you can see his mouth is trembling. I mean, he was just so anxious and nervous. Not that he wasn't good, but it was important for him. This was his first starring English language. I mean, this is, you know, everything that he was hoping for it to be.
So I love Enter the Dragon. It's one of my favorite Bruce Lee movies. Why don't you comment below? Let me know what your favorite Bruce Lee movie is. Mine obviously is Enter the Dragon. So when I got this from John Agrone, I was floored and very excited to add this to my collection. Here's a couple of behind the scenes shots with Rob Klaus and Paul Heller in the room where Bruce Lee makes the call just before he fights all the guards in the dungeon. And again, some other pictures here, a few color, a lot of black and white in this book. Here's another few shots of Bruce Lee with Robert Klaus, Paul Heller, John Saxon, discussing some scenes in the mirror room. Again, this book is basically a picture book loaded with behind the scenes pictures of Bruce Lee in his classic movie Enter the Dragon. So I'll thumb through a few more of these pages so you guys get a chance to see what's in this beautiful book. Some great shot here of Bruce on the boat with the brown kung fu uniform. Here discussing with Bob Klaus some movie script. Again, just some great scenes that I've never seen before of Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon. A little difficult to flip through this, but I'll do my best. Here's a beautiful color shot of Bruce Lee with his suit on. One of my favorites. Here's another beautiful shot of Bruce Lee and Han up above, and a few more shots here rehearsing with Han behind the scenes and Enter the Dragon. Couple more beautiful shots. Again, beautiful picture book, just loaded and loaded with behind the scenes photos of Bruce Lee in his classic movie. Oh, I love these. Here's some great color shots of Bruce Lee and John Saxon up above practicing Chi Sao. Here's some beautiful color shots of Bruce in the nice teal shirt. John Saxon in his nice tan suit, probably discussing some scenes through the script. Here Bruce Lee is stretching out John Saxon in this nice color photo of Bruce and John. I heard John lacked flexibility, so as you could see, Bruce was always working with guys on the set to improve their martial arts skills, and in this case, John's flexibility, so he looks as best as he can in his fight scenes. And again, the book is just loaded with pictures. Can't cover every page, but I'll flip through a couple of these things so you guys could see some of these magnificent photos in the book. Again, Bruce and John Saxon, some more scenes with Bruce here. More color photos of Bruce and John Saxon, probably discussing the script. More scenes here. Let me see if I can get to a few other pages for you guys. Yeah, these are just phenomenal. Here's some scenes, him rehearsing for the courtyard battle scene with John Saxon, choreographing some fights. As you can see, Bruce was always on the go. Here's a nice rare color shot of Bruce Lee in the room where he performs that little kung fu form just before Hara comes in the room. And says, "You must attend the morning ritual in uniform." Some great behind scenes of Enter the Dragon with Bob Wall. And again, I'll flip through some of this. I want to get to some scenes that you may have not seen before. Here he is in the behind the scenes footage of Bruce Lee practicing with Bob Wall. A lot of you have seen the footage from the Anna Capri tape. If you haven't, I put together a nice video on that, which I'll feature on the link above. But here he is practicing with Bob Wall. And in here is also a great shots of Bruce Lee, which everyone wants to know more about, which was the challenge when one of the extras came down from the wall and challenged Bruce Lee to a fight. And here you see Bruce Lee sparring with the extra, and a lot of great photos of Bruce Lee, which are very, very rare, which are also featured in this book. So again, see if I can find a couple more. Here's some beauties with him and Bolo. And again, I don't have the time to flip through the whole book, but I'll just kind of flip through some of these pages quickly so you get a chance to see some of these magnificent photos. Here he is with the snake. Here you go, Bruce with more with Bob Klaus in his beautiful suit here at the bottom. Very colorful. Here he is with John Saxon. More scenes, directing. Here's some great mirror shots of Bruce Lee from Enter the Dragon. And again, guys, let me know if you have this book. Here's the many faces of Bruce Lee. He had such great looks, and he always looks different in all his facial poses. Let me know if any of you guys have this incredible book in your collection. Again, when I was over John's, I believe he said there may have only been 20 copies printed of this phenomenal book. They probably should have printed more. Love to hear if you have this in your collection. It's called Enter the Dragon, Behind the Scenes. Came out in 2017, over about 200 pages. Hope you enjoyed this brief overview on this book. It's fantastic. If you could find it on eBay, I would definitely suggest picking it up. It's the thickest and highest quality book I've ever seen on Enter the Dragon Behind the Scenes. And remember, if you're new to the channel, please make sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode by hitting the subscribe button below. And if you like this episode, make sure to give it a thumbs up by smashing the like button now. So that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you found this fun. I know it's hard thumbing through this book, but once again, Charles Damiano from the Bruce Lee Collection, as always, saying have fun collecting, and I'll see you next Friday, guys. Take care.